Alrighty, and let's move to the last two guys here, starting with their 242 pick, James Williams, the safety out of Miami. Give us a rundown of his what is that finger for?
Go ahead. I'll explain in a
Oh,
second.
okay. His draft profile. Give us a
There we go.
rundown.
Yeah, here's the
Okay.
rundown. And you say the finger is for the safety designation, which he technically is and did in college, but we're gonna make it pretty obvious here in a minute. That's not what he's gonna do for the Titans. He's a linebacker. Here's the introduction, though. 5-star recruit out of high school, number 1 safety in the 2021 recruiting class, and number 4 overall recruit in all of Florida, behind his new teammate J.C. Latham, by the way, who I think was the number 1 recruit in Florida that year. Only 21 years old, so very young, ranked 5th best in terms of fit for the Titans amongst the linebackers by Zach Lyon's Titans fit model. In 2023, his final season, he played 12 out of 12 games, 73 tackles, had half a tackle for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 6 passes defended, and 1 interception, led the team in forced fumbles, and he missed the bowl game as an opt-out player. Measurements, perfectly fine, 6'4" and change, 231 pounds. Some strengths listed here in the beast. Tall, stretched out frame and outstanding length, explosive first step out of his transitions, shows functional zone cover skills, can carry tight ends across the field, aggressive striker, and goes for the thumping hit when it's available. Length makes it tough for passers to layer the ball over him. Was a regular on punt return and coverage teams. Versatile experience and played multiple roles: 2 high, single high, box, safety in college. And he started 30 games in his time with the Hurricanes. Some weaknesses: long striding speed, but struggles to close ground in man coverage or pursuit. So he's got more long speed than he does short area quickness. Inconsistent react awareness from the post, has some wild take-on skills with too much wasted movements when attempting to punch off blocks. Finishing strength, I can't read anymore, I'm seeing cross-eyed. Finishing strength is average at best, and physical NFL runners will run through his arm tackles. Energetic play quickly becomes undisciplined. 17 penalties in his career, with 3 face masks and 9 personal foul or unnecessary roughness flags. Played part of his sophomore season with a torn labrum in his left shoulder and had offseason surgery in December of 22. Suffered a season-ending groin injury as a freshman in November of 21, which required surgery, and his combine medicals revealed scar tissue on his right groin muscle, which sidelined him for his pro day. In summary, Brugler writes that overall Williams is more of a tweener athlete than a seasoned football player, but he's a full-throttle enforcer with a unique skill set that will intrigue several NFL defensive coordinators. He projects best in a robber cover 3 scheme and offers versatility in sub packages to blitz or match tight ends. So Brugler had him listed as a linebacker. And if you look at the athletic testing for him, the last thing I'll say before we get to some fake questions, real answers here, is that as a safety, Williams' RAS, relative athletic score, was a 4.63. Very, very strong size for a safety, but very poor explosiveness, very poor speed grade. When you grade him as a linebacker, though, which is where he's playing linebacker. The Titans, when they put out the picture of him, they listed him as James Williams, linebacker. It changes significantly. He goes from a 4.63 RAS to a 7.42. His size is still good. He's a little bit underweight for a linebacker, but his speed becomes average, slightly above average, and his explosiveness is fine. So that's something to keep in mind when you talk about, this Titans class. It's unathletic. Like that's one element of this that I think isn't being reported very well.
Yeah, and I think that's where we get into this, right? You're bringing in this James Williams, maybe a later dart throw for the Titans, but what does it tell you about the linebacker depth that was already there and the need for them to double down in this draft class?
Yeah, man, this was a good weekend for the incumbent Titans receivers. Very bad weekend for the incumbent Titans linebackers. It tells you that, James Williams, being a dart throw of theirs in the 7th, who can be a rotational player, a special teams ace out of the gate, it puts guys like Dr. Jack Gibbons and who am I missing?
Otis
here?
Reese.
Otis Reese. Thank you, Otis Reese. Puts them on notice. Like, we've got 2 guys in this draft class that are younger than you. They are guys that we intentionally just picked, and we're looking to keep them on the roster by any means necessary. And we think that they have the skills to give you a run for your money at this position and knock you down a peg or 2 or 3 on the depth chart. So I think it tells you that they consider the linebacker situation a bad one as is, and they brought in two guys they think that can help that.
Yeah, and with Williams kind of being this tweener athlete, not really checking either the fully linebacker box or a safety box, but having a lot of good coverage skills. How do you think he fits into Denard's vision for this defense?
He and a number of these other guys point towards what we talked about earlier this weekend. How the vision for the Titans defense as a whole pretty clearly is that they're wanting to max out the extremes, right? They have really shored up their interior pass rush and run defensibility with Jeffrey Simmons and Devondre Sweat. And they have really shored up their cornerback situation with three bona fide stud starters on the outside. That allows the spine of their defense, their edge rushers, their linebackers, outside linebackers and inside linebackers, their safeties to play fast and physical and reactive. Because when you are able to defend the run with light boxes, because you've got two massive human beings on the inside, and you don't have to attribute more help to the run defense on a regular basis. You can have faith in those two in a light box to get by if a run hits you when you weren't expecting it. And then you're able to cover three deep to a man in man or zone coverage on the outside and not worry about the safeties having to hover in too high all the time and babysit over the top and play conservative and play prevent. That allows you to do some unique things with the spine of your defense and get downhill. And a guy like James Williams with that tweener body has experience playing safety in college. It's going to be used more as a linebacker or a box safety at the next level by the Titans. They can utilize him in different ways without having to worry about, well, we can't have this guy on the field because we got to have two strong coverage players. They're going to sit high and babysit over the top. And so that's where he fits into the puzzle of this vision the Titans defense, I think, has going forward.